Osteopath said at the beginning, as it were, and work out what was happening. They are blaming us for not being scientific, and I go, hang on a minute, you can't blame us, you're worse, because you're actually in power. And that's where we mustn't bow to this. But don't criticise, get on our own thing, don't worry about them. Sorry, Jane. Just shout. I'll repeat, go on.
Do you think Sutherland also had some...
It was worse than a lot. Sutherland, McKone, as far as I'm concerned, misunderstood still, so drastic. They came in with this intellectual approach and fragmented. Still didn't need cranial visceral structure, didn't need that at all. Didn't even need techniques. These people needed, was that answer your question? Sorry, jumped ahead there. You get off me money?
You answered a different question.
Go on.
But in Sutherland's own writing or his transcribed speeches, do you not think he was trying to describe, or we took something too literally that he was trying to put down on paper on what he felt?
No, I think
I
think Sutherland, James Jealous, all these people are romantic scientists. It's what Goethe was warning against, this romanticism. I think this still wasn't romantic. He was a hard man. Is that correct? He was a tough man. This intellectuals came along and romanticised with it. They took, they probably turned up at Still's place one day and thought, what the hell is this? Mess. It's all over the place. Chickens, animals, this is like the world for Still. They went around tidying things up for them, Let's make osteopathy tidy. Now, I'm not against what they're doing, and to a degree it works. It all works to a degree because we're there as human beings. But it's never been as effective as AT Still. It's never been as effective.
Even his children said that though they all did it, he did something. There was something different when Dr. Still did it. And even his children to their dying day says it wasn't the same.
Exactly. And again, it's not the something, it's a no thing.
What do you mean with romantic in this context?
Romanticism is it came generally from the British poets, Wordsworth and people like that. To visualise something romantic is me going, being all romantic, being poetic, and Goethe's like, Stop being romantic. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to be hard. This is a very hard science, but because it's non-material, it was put into the classification of romantic.
Okay.
With the poets, he was classified with all the other poets, like Wordsworth and all these British poets. And he's like, no, he's not doing this. He's trying to be really tough, and it is really hard science. It's a bit like a soft style martial arts and external martial arts, karate versus Tai Chi. It's a big difference. Any more questions?
How do you think nature is no thing, and James yesterday complexity is something?
I'm saying to Max that my job is to try and my job is to be questioned by people, because if I don't question what Jane does, if I don't question what I do, somebody out there will. It's best that we do it to ourselves, not somebody from outside. Jane's not wrong. I'm not against the Cartesian. It's just that it's both easy. One's here, one's here. I'm trying to bring the other one up. So if we don't question ourselves, if we get too comfortable, Aristotle said that when does security become a prison? When does comfort become death? We mustn't be comfortable with something. We need more. We should keep questioning ourselves. We should stay dynamic. I'm not right. Jane's not wrong. It's the ability for you guys to make your own decisions, what you do.
Walter, where do you put tacit knowledge?
Oh yeah, I love it. So tacit knowledge is that knowledge, again, tacit knowledge is more the sensuous intellectual approach. Tacit knowledge, that which cannot be spoken. Plenty of stuff on that. Yeah, lovely. But again, it's part of the picture. I'm not dismissing Descartes, I'm not dismissing mathematics. I'm just putting it in its right place. If I want to build a house, I don't want to do it with love and affect. I don't want emotion, I want hard science to build it. It may look nice later, I may do some nice colours, but if I'm looking at a plant, I don't want the same mentality as building a bridge. It doesn't help, it's incomplete.
No, but what I meant is, do you see if you grasp the whole of what tacit knowledge means, do you see that as being a part of the process?
Yeah, I see it being.
In the process.
No, I see it as
You can't grasp it. You can't.
No, I see it as the primary part of the process. It's the fundamental phenomenon, tacit knowledge, which is that knowledge which is the sensuous intellectual, not the verbal. So the sensuous intuitive, not the verbal intellectual. Both have to be balanced. But what I find a lot of writing on tacit knowledge is what I call closet Cartesian. It's like it pretends to be one thing, but it's even worse Cartesian.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is, you know, Henry Bortoff said to me, one of the last things he said to me was, Walter, there's two kinds of people you will meet in your journey. Okay? One is more dangerous than the other. The most dangerous person is not the person that doesn't understand you. The dangerous person is the person that thinks they understand you.
It's in religion the same thing.
Because they will take it on. And you'll spend the rest of your life saying, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. John.
Can you go to that, your patient's spiel?
Snoopy.
Not Snoopy.
So that's the whole letter. He explains the 9-year-old child, and then, you know.
Go to the next one.
Which is his breakdown. Sorry, go on. Just quick.
Right, what do you interpret him as meaning? These changes were achieved not by manipulating joints or even by mobilizing the cranial bones, but by respecting the specific structure and properties.
But what we talked about before that years ago in the lecture, that idea of respecting is to pull back. I respect you by pulling back. You're respecting your expression. Can you hear me? So the term, what John was saying, this idea about respecting, respecting the specific structure and properties. This is your form and function in a way, of the different tissues. So it's that pulling back slightly, giving it room, not trying to do something, but participating with it rather than pushing theory on it. Let it form, let it form. And whatever ideas I come up with, they've now moved. This is the dynamics of the phenomenon. Once you lock something down, you're in trouble. That's what I see. That's what I taught in my lectures.
So that they're going to, just by noticing them and respecting them, they're going to change by themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, it's not a purely. I think when we separate mind from body in our language, that's where the trap is. You cannot have mindfulness. It's an expression of form where you are. I don't think in my head. I'm aware of my thinking where I am. So then, when you're actually using your hands, it's not a case of saying, right, I can sense something. I'm not going to do anything. No, you're already doing something. It's happening. It's like if there's a river going by nice and slowly, and you try and push it like this, it's not going any faster. Feel that movement, and if you want to change what's here, you have to put your hand up here to change what happens here. It's got to be upstream. So it's a bit like, and again, it's difficult without going through it. So when we do a workshop, we go through it. So I'm getting to think differently, and you get this aha moment, and then I've lost it again. So it's thinking upstream, coming towards you, rather than what's already there. It's seeing the ball being thrown through the air, not caught.
So what's the difference between that and Sutherland and Jealous?
What's different is the basic underlying Cartesian phenomenon is still there. Even though it looks like unity, it looks like motion. If you attend to motion, it's too late. I know where you're coming from, sorry, yeah. If you tend to any sorry.
But it's not, I agree with Tom. It's not saying that the technique, a special technique is used.
No.
So to me...
I agree.
Sorry.
Go on.
If you read it very literally, it says there is no technique, no specific technique.
Absolutely.
So to me, I would actually take it as being a biodynamically...
No. The reason why it's not biodynamic is because I've read biodynamics, which is anti-Steiner. And it says Blumenbach and that lot were anti-Steiner. Biodynamics was taken up as being anti-Steiner, which is anti-Goethe, which is something completely different. The term biodynamics was invented by Rudolf Steiner and was picked up by all the others afterwards and redefined. And the last 3 papers that I read specifically said this has got nothing to do with Steiner.
Okay, but does it matter?
Yes, yes. I tell you why it matters.
Be careful now.
Hang on,
It does.
It does matter, massively. The reason why it matters is because Steiner himself went off on a little bit of a little journey, which was just, that's another story. But the reason why it happens is that the original osteopaths, a lot of them, especially in Britain, there's a guy called Dennis Brooks, a famous cranial osteopath, said, if you've seen Dennis Brooks' book on cranial work, he says in the first chapter, he mentions Charlotte Weaver, which no one hardly ever mentions anymore, being a woman, that's what happened, number one. And number two, he mentions Rudolf Steiner. That's all now been dropped, this biodynamic model, which I don't see what that's all about. It's closet, I call it closet Cartesian. It's organised in theory in such a way that it looks to me as a Cartesian. It fulfills that criteria of what Bortov was trying to say. Okay, the end of the line is for me, is whatever happens, it's the treatment of the patient. That's the end of the line. It's making the patient better. Now, I've put myself, after over 30 years, through different experiences. The toughest experience I ever had was in the National Football League in American football in the States. That's where I was put to the test. It's like a, you know, you're going to hell and back, basically. Those people, the Americans understand that. This philosophy works powerfully in that situation. Powerfully when done properly. That's one extreme. The other extreme is in your clinic working with a newborn baby, which I do every Monday. The philosophy is still the same. You test that philosophy over and over again. If you just go in a clinic, you're not testing the other extreme. If you just go that end, you're not testing. I put myself through the extremes, and it works in every single case, this approach. That's the only way I can say, I think I know what A.T. Still was doing. Key is not to do what he was doing. The key is a mode of consciousness. That's where the power, that's where the discipline lies. And calling it biodynamic, calling it cranial, calling it visual, it doesn't matter. We've got to get to this basic, this is what, when someone says to me, what's the basic curriculum that should be taught around the world? It's the philosophy that should be taught all around the world. The rest doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what technique, doesn't matter what's called biodynamic. The power of osteopathy, okay, the philosophy should be the same. The principles should be altered in the context of the patient. The practice should be different. Bortov said, I'll just finish up. Tony Bortov said to me, osteopathy is all the P's, okay? P's. It's all P's, okay? It's the philosophy, principles and practice practiced by the patient on the practitioner in the present through phenomenology. All the P's. Remember that. Thank you.